That's why?
Yeah, that was cold-blooded.
Well, we're live now, so.
And we're live having this conversation.
Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast, Free Skate Friday, presented by Davidson's Beer, Wine, and Spirits. I'm your host, Rudo3, joined every Friday now with AJ Hafley rocking out to all the small things down there, and Evan Rowell. Of course, the three-man unit, just the three of us today, because guess what? Hockey is coming back in a very big way on Monday with training camps getting underway. So, we figured no need for a guest this week. We'd cover all of our bases, get ourselves and you prepped for Avalanche training camp with still a lighthearted episode where we have a little bit of fun, but Avs-centric for the most part. Where should we start? Should we start with our power ranks or should we start with our hot takes, AJ? Evan, what do you want to start with?
Strong feelings here. Let's start with power ranks.
All right. He wants to start with the power rankings, so we're going to start with the power rankings.
Ooh.
The long-awaited look.
Graphic.
Yeah. They're hopefully they aren't quite that strong. That nobody has to lift the bar that heavy when it comes to these power rankings. Unless we're ranking the Avs at number 1, I suppose, but we're going to rank, first of all of the play-in teams, and then we can get into the round-robin teams after the fact. So, who is everyone's worst team in the playoffs?
Chicago.
You think?
Yep.
You think Chicago worse than Montreal?
Yep, they suck.
All right.
Yeah, I think Chicago, too.
I don't disagree. There's no way that team makes the playoffs in a regular year. I don't think. Like, they weren't even really within spitting distance. The big conversation with them was, why are they even getting in? And the conclusion most people came to was, well, they're a big market, so
yeah, and like. Same reason Montreal, right? Like, there were 22 clear teams that you could include in this, and they were like, look, 24 just makes more sense. Plus, it's Montreal and Chicago. Like, really? Like, had those last two teams been, I don't know, Ottawa and Anaheim, would we be here with 24 teams today? I don't know.
Probably
maybe.
not.
But I'm not going to believe so. So, they got in, and they're both not great. But I'm a bigger believer in Montreal. I think Montreal has more.
They've got a good coach. I think that they're pretty well structured.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I like about Montreal. I'm not picking them in their series. I think it's gonna be a pretty quick. They're out of there, but I would take them if they were to play head to head against Chicago. I would take them over the
Montreal. Montreal is pretty well structured. They're just not like a super talented team, and they're very fast. So I would take them over. And I mean, you never know. Carey Price.
They still
could get hot.
lack center depth. So
yeah, and like that's really what's preventing them from taking a big step forward. Because if you look at the roster, there's a lot of talent, like layered throughout the roster. It's not a bad team. It's just they don't have the studs down the middle to drive play, which is why we always talk about when it's draft time why centers are more valuable than wings and why you have to build down the middle. And if all things are even, you need to take the guy down the middle unless you are a stud, unless you have studs already. You've got to build centers.
Dario asks, who has the worst goaltending? That's a tough one. It depending on who starts, you could make a case for Florida or Nashville.
Minnesota did not have good goaltending this year.
Well, Stalock turned it up when he had to. Dubnyk was really bad, though.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Bob or
Renee,
though.
Both of Calgary's goalies.
That's true.
Like Mike Smith and David Rittich, like, are you really feeling strongly about either one of those guys?
It's Talbot now, right?
Yeah, it's Talbot. Mike Smith.
Yeah, they swapped.
Which is the other team that I would say is
not
very
exactly
iffy.
Encouraging. Yeah, exactly for either of them.
Yeah, there's a couple teams with some bad goaltending.
Yeah, I do think so.
That's what you would expect. Half these teams wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Bad goaltending or not, though, can we just put Minnesota at 22? Like, I'll give you Chicago and Montreal as the worst two teams, but I don't think Arizona's worse than Minnesota.
I honestly would consider Montreal above Minnesota.
There you go. Even put them further down the list.
Yeah, just because I think Montreal they're built on speed, and I would take a chance on that speed and structure and Carey Price over Minnesota, personally. But either way, no.
There just isn't much upside with that lineup, right?
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do every single night, and it's not anything special.
Yeah, I think you could probably talk me into the Habs over the Wild.
All right. We'll just put you down for Minnesota as a terrible team then, confirmed.
Yeah. They were playing well at the end of the season, like well above what I think they're
actually capable of.
Yeah. Like they have some really good players. But it's all fountain of youth, like they can put together a strong month, but they don't particularly scare me all that much.
Yeah. Okay. So after those three, I say really it pretty much becomes a toss-up. I guess I don't have a ton of faith in New York. After that, you know what? Anyone could win these series.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you guys have someone you really still want to rail on.
Not really.
Yeah, it's just a lot of mishmash. I was going to say Arizona, but they'll probably have Darcy Kemper back. So if he actually plays well, there's been so much time off. That team just depends so much on goaltending. So
yeah, I have full confidence that honestly Arizona's gonna get good goaltending. I'm more and more every day I'm leaning towards picking the Coyotes to beat Nashville.
Boy,
personally.
I just can't do it.
Like Nashville is by far the more talented team, but there's been something poisoned in that water for a long time now, really since their cup run. I just think that it's been a slow decline for them, and now kind of a first round loss to Arizona might be the thing that David Poile says, okay, I don't know what to do now. Because it's not like he hasn't made big, bold moves. He's tried to shake it up in almost every way that he can. There's just something's not working in that locker room and with that group. And I'm just not buying. I'm not buying that the playoffs are going to be where they figure it out, man. I like Arizona, and a big reason is because of their goaltending. I like Arizona's goaltending situation. I don't care if it's Kemper or Ranta. I'll take either one of those guys over Saros or Rene these days.
If Nashville wants to shoot themselves in the foot and stick with Rene, I would agree with you. But I think they're smart enough to play Saros, and I think they'll be fine. I don't know if they'll push for cup contention or anything, but I think they'll get into the proper playoffs.
That's just a team that I have spent so much time giving so much credit to, And the more I've looked at this, I'm like, why? What am I afraid of? This is a team that's gonna go out with a whimper, not a bang. There's no bang left. I'm over the Predators being scary. If they end up against Colorado, that's a 5-game series.
Boy, I don't know about that. That's a lot of confidence. But either way, I'm all for putting Nashville down near the bottom. I don't think Arizona will have that easy of a time with them.
I'm not saying they're going to sweep them or anything, but I just think they're going to get good goaltending. And in a short series like that, momentum is going to be enormous. And they're going to wake up, and it's going to be 2-0 or 2-1 Arizona, and then we're going to watch them fold like the French, man. I don't have any faith that Nashville's got it anymore.
All right. I'm not going to argue with you, but watching the Avs beat them in 5 would be a little bit fun. I won't lie about that.
I would be annoyed at the loss.
Want that sweet, baby?
Mm-hmm.
So then you have a bunch of teams which I would say are muddled in the middle, with the Calgarys, the New Yorks, kind of the Nashvilles falling in that same territory.
There's such a big middle class in this.
Yeah, the Rangers are tough to gauge because they were on a roll, and then the league shut down. Yeah. And it's still not that great of a lineup. It's just it was carried by a couple of star players playing out of their mind. So it's tough. I wonder what they're going to do in net, because you got Lundqvist, you got what's Shesterkin?
Yeah, you have to go with Shesterkin, I think, right? Like,
you just as easily go Gorgiev and it's fine.
Yeah,
not Lundqvist either way.
Yeah, I don't think they're going with Hank. I think Hank he's a spectator.
Yeah,
a good-looking one.
We need to make a Rex graphic so that every time he comes in on stream, we can just put that up.
I have some good
like a Rex alert.
Florida's a team. I saw somebody ask bad teams you think could surprise. I think they could surprise just mainly because I think this playoff structure is going to be so high scoring. That's a team that can score.
Their forward core is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
and if Bob just finds like half decent play back there, like
if he's like a 9-12 guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My fantasy team could have used that this year. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Fantasy didn't matter at all. So
have you checked if you're becoming a father, Ouroboros?
Yeah, right.
Because that is some dad tier pun right there. All right, so the middle class is what it is. We don't have to rank that out number by number.
Yeah.
Who are some of the teams that you are expecting a lot out of in this play-in round? Obviously, Carolina, one of the top-ranked teams in the play-in round. I think that one's pretty much a given. But you're looking at some of the other teams that just missed. AJ's Islanders, I don't think there's a ton of faith there.
I'm not picking them to beat Florida.
Okay.
Like, it's a great stylistic matchup for the Islanders because all they have to do is just lock down that offense and try and win to 2-1 every game. But their forward core is so mediocre. They struggle to generate to the point where if Bobrovsky is even half decent, I think Florida will probably have that series pretty easily.
Hard to argue with that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the wrong matchup for the Islanders, I think, because it's a goalie with way more upside than what we've seen out of him this year. And like what happened during the regular season, it's months ago. We've had an off season.
Right. It's almost
been a full summer,
right?
So I'm not relying on the fact that he's been bad for them to get through, and that's what it would take for them to get by.
Racist Fan Rocks calling Edmonton might be sneaky good. I mean, especially if we're talking about high scoring, never count out McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, that team can just show up and drop numbers on you at the top.
I think the top two teams for me in the play-in round are Edmonton and Carolina. I think those are the two best teams.
I think Pittsburgh is. I think about the vets on that team, and now they had a little bit of a break and they're always beat up. I'm sure. I think Getzel's going to probably be back, so that's a team that I could see getting hot. They just know how to win, and now they've got everybody back.
It feels like Pittsburgh's window is a bit closed. It feels like it's gone a little bit too far the other way. I wouldn't say they have the worst goaltending, but there's certainly some question marks back there for them.
Yeah. Well, and if it's a bad game and they bring the other guy in and he has a bad game, then where do you go?
What do you do? Because they don't have consistency from either one, really.
Yeah. They're all over the board, and like they were really beat up. Yeah. And so I can see them using this time. They got healthy. They're going to be at full strength. I could see that being like, oh, they're sneaky good. And you never really know with Pittsburgh. Like they rip off these hot streaks where they're unbeatable. And then they also have these streaks where they're just god awful.
They do, but they're not the team they used to be. Yes.
Yeah. I'm with you, man.
Malkin, but they don't have the Kessel and the accessory pieces that they had during their cup dominance.
Yeah, I think they're being overrated in this format.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talk about same thing with Carolina. I think is probably the best team, but I'm not. Their goalies were not very good this year.
Nope, they never are though.
Like 907.
Yeah, so they never are.
They were good last year. It's just Mrazek took a little bit of a step back this year. So
I mean, Mrazek just got super hot in the playoffs last year, basically.
Do you want to start James Reimer in the playoffs? I always forget he's in the league.
Yeah, he's. It's the Carolina effect where you just forget everyone that plays there. But I want Carolina to win for no other reason than they're fun. But
yeah, they're easy. They're easy to root for.
The more storm surges, the better. That's all I'm saying.
I'm curious if they storm surge in.
Yeah, because this isn't really playoffs either,
empty
right?
arena.
Yeah, like there's nobody there, and they're like dicking around, like doing whichever one they want to do. Like, okay,
like are they going to have
a bad concert?
Will they have DJs in the arena, or is it just going to be like silence during the break for the players?
Does anyone? I don't even think the NHL knows any of this stuff right now.
Dude, we have training camp starting literally on Monday, bro, and we still don't have guidelines released for that yet.
Commercial breaks are just going to be like people that are actually in the arena just coughing. Everyone's going to hear it.
Oh man, that's a yikes. Okay, so the two of us down on Pittsburgh, up on Carolina and Edmonton for the teams at the top. Most everyone else, I would say, is in the middle or down. Unless someone wants to throw their hat in the Toronto ring, which I don't think anyone does.
My sleeper is Columbus.
Mm-hmm. They get Seth Jones back, so
they get everybody back. Man, they get Josh Anderson back. They get Oliver Bjorkstrand back. Like
I thought Josh Anderson wasn't coming back.
Is he? Did he?
I think they said he's out till next year now.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay, they're still my sleeper.
Yeah,
he was having such a year that it's like I can live without Josh Anderson. I
thought you might take Team Connor Hellebuck as your sleeper, but
that's like I could totally see them beating Calgary, but in a 7-game series against 3 of the 4 teams out west, I don't think they can hang. I think they could have they could have a really fun who scores first every night against Dallas, but against the other 3 teams, I think would just stomp the Jets in a 7-game series.
Yeah,
I don't.
But I like Columbus a lot, man. I think Columbus. They've got a good matchup. I think it's a disciplined team. I think they're a feisty team that everybody likes to overlook. One of the big things that I thought Toronto was going to have an advantage of was not being in Toronto, and instead they're going to be there.
The problem is they're fighting destiny because Toronto has to, by law, play the Boston Bruins in the first round every single year.
No first round this year. Not the same thing. It's
I disagree. The first round is still the first round.
Elvis is ruining this party. My man Elvis is gonna show up. It's gonna be awesome, and they're gonna be the darlings in the NHL once again.
Yeah, I like Columbus too, but I'll stick with Florida just because I like their matchup, and I think it's gonna be tend to be high scoring, and I trust their forwards to score a lot.
All right. I'm not going to argue too much. I don't think Columbus does it, but I don't mind Florida as a sleeper pick a little bit there. The call for Vancouver to play the Avs, I still think is a fun one. But
I want it. I'm like Gollum chasing around the ring, man. That's my precious right there. I want it so bad.
Well, we can take our first period break on the Gollum reference there, as it is time to acknowledge Breckenridge Brewery, my precious these days, as our official beer over here. As look at that, Evan's got the Mountain Beach over there. The good stuff, whether you want the Mountain Beach, the Avalanche Amber, the Agave Wheat, any other beer from Breckenridge Brewery, you can always go to Davidson's, like it says down at the bottom there, for curbside pickup or even delivery, and you can support them directly at Breckenridge Brewery down at the farmhouse in Littleton if you want to go that way as well. So get out there, try your Breckenridge brews, and give her a go one way or another. And of course, we also have our gaming sponsor, WGT Golf. I believe our new tournament was just announced. I didn't even see the name of it because I'm behind and it's Friday, and let's be honest, I'm just being sluggish about things. But we always have tournaments every week now. We've changed our schedule where you can beat us up on digital golf every single week if you want to, because let's face it, everyone on this pod is getting beat up on WGT with regularity. Be sure to go to thednvr.com to download the game and search for DNVR2 to join our second clubhouse. It's up over 180 members at this point, I believe, with the first one full at 250. So
I think we broke 190 this morning.
Are we up over 190 now? Yeah. Amazing. So nearly 450 members to play with at any time of day on any number of amazing courses, and to go up against head-to-head or all of them in the tournaments, as we always post our top leaderboard every single week. So be sure to jump on it, and should be fun as always. WGT, thednvr.com, or DNVR Golf rather. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by Davidson's Beer, Wine, and Spirits. And now the time is waiting is over. We are going to jump in. First of all, we did put out the tweet. We'll get to the masses' hot takes in a second. Firstly, I want to get to the podcast's hot takes right here. Look at that beautiful graphic. This is graphic is what I want from you. I do not want boring room temperature hot takes. I want ice on fire hot takes from this podcast.
I don't think I'm going to meet those expectations, but
it's already setting me up for disappointment here.
Yeah, I know. Well, you set the bar low. That's how it works.
You're not trying to get elected here, man. We're just trying to throw some jello at the wall.
Hot take. I mean, my hot take, I guess, would be that I think Ryan Graves gets exposed in the playoffs, just because I think the worst thing to happen to him was the shutdown. He was on a roll. He had momentum going, and now everything's gone. So I guess that's my hot take, and that's probably his agent's worst fear.
The reason I'm not worried about that is because he was on a roll at the end of the last regular season and he was healthy scratched through the entire playoffs, came back in camp and just kept going and got better and better and better. I'm only very minimally worried about Ryan Graves. Does he play at quite the same level? I'm always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop there, but I think he's established himself as an NHL player. at this point, I trust him on a nightly basis more than Nikita Zadorov.
Yeah. I'm just trying to come up with some hot takes, all right?
Okay.
I think that hot take comes in at maybe like
It's not hot enough for you?
maybe like a 4 at most.
Yeah, I had it as a 4.
Jeez.
Not even pushing it up to the 5 there on a 1 to 10 scale here. I mean, the oven's on, but you're not really baking anything.
The oven is on is a good way to describe a 4 of a hot take.
All right. So we have Ryan Graves being exposed. AJ, you ready, or you want me to buy you some time here?
I think my hot take is that the leading scorer does not come from the 3-headed monster.
Is that leading scorer Cale Makar? Are you willing to make that leap?
No, I don't think it'll be Makar either.
All right, that's pretty hot then. I think that's toasty. You're talking like, if you're not going to give me a name, I don't know if I can go higher than like a 7.
I think it's going to be Kadri. I think that I think this is a dude that has missed the playoffs the last couple of years because he's gotten himself suspended, and I think we're going to see
and he doesn't have to play Boston
that
until the
redemption.
final.
I think we're going to see all the redemption come out in a very entertaining story. I think Kadri is he's going to be the X factor between them making the Cup Finals or them losing in round 1. And I'm buying Kadri stock, so I think Cup Finals is where they're headed.
Your explanation almost made that less hot to me.
Sorry.
It seemed more realistic after you explained it.
I rated a 4.
I still think it's probably like a 6.5, 7. In that
so
range.
The oven's been heated up a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
you put something in the oven if you're saying the 3-headed monster isn't going to lead in scoring, unless you're banking on them all getting injured again or something. But
no, I'm just buying Naz Kadri stock.
I like the buy. It's just a little toasty. It's a little on the toasty side.
Okay. What's your hot take?
Yeah. I have 2 hot takes. The first one isn't really necessarily Avs related, and I didn't think it was a hot take at all, but apparently Twitter disagrees with AJ and I. The top of the Stanley Cup is a bowl.
Dude, it's totally a bowl.
It is a bowl. I even looked it up on the Stanley Cup wiki, and it says, quote, Stanley purchased what is frequently described as a decorative punch bowl, but which was later confirmed by a silver expert named John Colm to be identified as a Rose Bowl. It's a bowl.
It's totally a bowl.
So
I was shocked when people were like, it's a cup. I'm like, really? Have you ever drank out of a cup like that? Dale, can we get some other pictures of bowls up here?
Yeah, show us a picture of a bowl if you can find one, because that thing is a bowl. Yes, it's the other way around, Cygnus. All cups are bowls, but not all bowls are cups.
Yeah.
Look at all that is almost exactly the top of the Stanley Cup.
Right.
So the DNVR Bowlcast.
Yeah. Some other bowls here. See? Look at some of these bowls.
Definitively.
Look at this.
Not cups, bowls.
You could fit a small child in some of these just like you can at the top of the Stanley Cup.
That one kind of looks like it, actually. What?
Yeah, definitely a bowl. There's like no doubt that is a bowl.
That is 100% a bowl. Somebody told me yesterday it was a large chalice, and I was like, okay, I could live with that. It looks like a massive version of the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones. No. Ain't nobody calling it the Stanley Bowl, but like, let's be real, that's a bowl up there.
Just know that hockey has been having bowl games for long before football was even a sport. All right, NCAA football, shots fired.
I was expecting a hot ass take, not bull talk. Do you got an Avs take?
My Avs take would be, unfortunately, very similar to AJ's, but I agreed with Chat. While Chat was popping off about Andre Burakovsky being that guy. For the record, I don't think he'll outscore McKinnon. I can't go that hot. But
Rudo as the Burakovsky fanboy.
It has. I don't know how it happened, but Andre Burakovsky for key X factor to the Avs playoff run. I think he puts up double-digit goals for the Avs in the playoffs.
Oof. It's a lot of goals.
I had to make it spicy somehow. If McKinnon's outscoring him, he better do something special.
How spicy would it be to say that Philip Grubauer wins Conn Smythe?
Hold your horses. We're going to get to plenty of that once we go to the viewer hot takes, all right?
I saw one viewer hot take that made me go, oh my goodness. The Avs are sweeping through everyone if that happens.
It feels great, Adam. It feels great to be right, doesn't it?
This is Rudo tooting his own horn podcast now.
Yeah.
Hey, it's few and far between, okay?
He's like I'm driving the show, and right now I'm just driving it right through my own neighborhood.
This is my house.
That's right.
All right. So we didn't really have anyone pushing a 10 here, right? So I wanted to
apparently not
some viewer ones because there are some that I believe to be a hard 10.
We've got to stop doing hot takes because we're not good at them.
Yeah, I'm not a hot take guy.
We're not super hot. We need to bring Jesse back on for the hot take shows, apparently.
Oh man. That dude has some hot takes just naturally.
All right.
His love for just the pure heat.
I was gonna say, starting with his love of 100-degree weather.
Oh man. I walked outside to go get the mail tonight. I thought I was gonna die. It's ridiculous out there.
Dude, it's gotten insane. Like, it was raining every afternoon, so it was fine. And then it stopped raining, and it was like 97 degrees every day. Come on.
It's brutal. Just brutal.
If I wanted to still live in Texas, I would.
Oof. Do you want to, though?
No.
All right.
That's why I moved here.
We can start with this one. I don't think this one is a hard 10, but some people might. We have Cale Makar wins the Conn Smythe. How hot is that?
Not
hot.
A little. Like a rookie defenseman winning the Conn Smythe. It's probably we've put so much on him that it doesn't sound like that hot of a take. But in reality, like given the history of it and the team, and I think that would be pretty unlikely.
If the Avs are winning the cup, I'm assuming you have to win the cup to. I mean, it can happen where you don't win it, but
yeah. But you basically have to be a goalie.
A goalie, or most people would go McKinnon. Like just the writers that are voting on this thing are going to default to that.
So give me a 1 to 10 number here. It's enough beating around the bush.
5.
Yeah, 5. I was gonna say 4 to make my hot take.
The oven door is open, maybe.
Yeah. We need to make a graphic for the next time we do this of what's happening with the oven on this hot take scale.
It's like the pain scale with the faces.
Yeah,
exactly. I wonder who designed that and who decided like that was like the industry standard.
All right, next up, the Avs go 8-1 in the first 2 rounds after going 1-2 in the play-in round in the round robin. Concussed Cowboy hitting us up with that one.
So that's where they sweep Nashville?
Sure. They go 4-0 against Nashville and then drop 1 game in the second round.
I think that's like an 8 because, I mean, losing 1 game in 2 rounds.
Yeah, you're asking a lot there.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
Yeah,
It's,
if they were in the qualifying round, maybe, but they're not. So too hot for me.
I definitely 8 sounds about right. I would say. I think betting on anyone to go that strong in the playoffs, especially these playoffs, is just because nobody knows.
So, Ruda, what's happening with the oven at 8?
All right, so the oven is not on fire, but the food you put in the oven is definitely on fire.
Okay.
I see that up close.
Is 10 just that scene from Community where Troy walks into his apartment and everything's on fire?
Now that's a 9. 10 is the whole building is burned down. Like there is no oven left. But yes,
all right.
9 is Troy walking in with a pizza.
That gif.
Yeah.
Speaking of 10s, Ian Coggins hits us with Gru channels his inner wah and gives up less than 5 even strength goals in the entire playoffs.
That was the one I saw, and I was like, oh my goodness.
That's totally possible if they lose in the first round.
Yeah.
He plays one game, gives up 4 even strength goals, and Frankie plays the rest.
No, I mean, you could you could lose in 4 games, like kind of the way that the Kings did to Vegas 2 years ago, where they played like a series of like 1-0 games that went into triple overtime. Where it was like, it wasn't like the Kings were terrible. They gave up. They lost that series. I think they got swept. And they lost that series, and they only gave up like 5 or 6 goals in the whole series, but they just couldn't score. That's the only way that happens is if they lose in the first round.
Could you imagine that? 5 goals, even strength over like
20 plus
like
games.
20 games or so.
Jeez.
That's I mean, if he gives up 5 goals, then the Avs have pretty much swept every round.
Yeah, then we're tying that in with Concussed Cowboys prediction there, where they go 8-1.
Definitely can't separate those two if both are to come true. But that takes giving me a little bit of indigestion here. So it's time to acknowledge Strava Craft Coffee as the CBD coffee that has really changed lives, which you can now purchase in K-Cups, whole bean or ground as well, whichever way you want to get your coffee. And it's been known to help migraines, long-term aches and pains, a number of other issues as well. And when you order at StravaCraftCoffee.com, be sure to use that DNVR20 code to get 20% off. The CBD is not psychoactive, so you're all good on that front. You can also try it in a number of locations in and around Denver. Plus, we also have the wonderful MSU Denver Online, my personal favorite. I did graduate from there, so let's be honest. You know I love it. But they have an amazing number of programs, over 40 different ones, which you can take both online and in the classroom once things get all back and started. Still, they have you covered online, and we have multiple people from here at DNVR taking online classes this summer in Allie Monroy and Harrison Wind. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them directly, and they will happily tell you about their experiences. But whether it's the summer, the fall, or the spring, MSU Denver will be there with over 750 different classes that you can take.
I got a question. Can one of those classes get Cygnus educated on who's eligible for the expansion draft or not?
They do have a sports media class. So
just go to Cap Friendly, Doug.
Maybe that's your final is you list every player eligible for the NHL expansion draft.
Just make an expansion list and make sure that it actually is it fits the rules.
Conforms to the rules. Yeah, exactly.
Unlike the one that we did.
Well, can't win them all.
Well, we could do 5 versions like the Athletic has done.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Back to the takes.
I'm still stuck on that 5 goals thing. Like, I'm hoping they make it through 2 games without giving up 5 goals, because I think it's gonna be sloppy the first couple.
Yeah, that's like a 990 save percentage at even strength.
You'd have to be outrageous.
Yeah,
and look, the Avs defense is good, but is it really that good?
Is anybody's ever?
They're a really good even strength team, but that would be like
Greatest
the most
of all time.
That would be the most dominant run at even strength ever.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, this next one.
I like that it was like he channeled his inner Waugh, and it's like even Patrick Waugh's looking at that like
that's insane.
Lil hot.
Where's that video to pop up, right?
Yeah.
Look.
Tiger Vixen, I love you, but this is like maybe a 3 at best.
This is like a nightmare. I saw that one.
Lindholm plays one game per number of rounds that the Avs go.
Yeah, I mean that's
times are rough if that's happening.
Are they that rough? I mean, really? We don't even know the final roster yet. So.
Yeah, I fully expect Lindholm to be on it, to be one of the D that goes, but I don't think that's a super hot take.
I don't think it's super hot either. Unfortunately, I would love to see the Timmins and Byroms get the opportunity, but let's be honest. Every NHL team in the league goes with the veteran player when it comes to the playoffs. In that type of situation.
Yeah.
I mean, Makar did kind of just step in and play 20 plus minutes last year. I know he's
but
Makar.
I know that.
First of all, Cale Makar. Second of all, Sam Girard was hurt. And so it gave them like the perfect opportunity. And then of course like he drops in and then he earns that spot in the lineup and then it was like, okay, well, now you got to kick somebody else out.
Well, for Lindholm to get in, there'd have to be at least 2 injuries. So
I think that
point,
depends.
You're not looking at the talent to bring some talented guys in.
Like who are your first 2 guys off the bench?
I would assume Barbarios first.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it depends. I assumed Kanat. I haven't seen Kanat in any of these pictures.
Are they bringing Kanat?
That's I'm wondering about if some of these pending UFAs, like if Mark Barberio really does have a contract in Switzerland, does he really?
He's been skating there.
So
whereas Kanat, and I haven't seen anything, so I don't know about him. But yeah. Oh,
Dario,
I just saw Dario's.
Yeah.
If that's true, that means they're doing a lot of leading.
Yeah.
Like 6-1. Where they're just rolling it.
Wow.
Is that total time on ice or even strength time on ice?
I hope it's not total.
Because
he ain't playing on the power play.
Under no circumstances should this ever happen.
All right. So that was we need to turn the oven back up a little bit. So our man Eddie is coming through here.
Oh boy.
The Blackhawks sweep the Oilers.
Oh, it wasn't Colin Wilson?
Yeah, I was totally expecting it to be Colin Wilson related.
Who also I haven't seen him in any pictures either.
It'll be nice when we actually get a roster.
Yeah.
I don't.
Blackhawks sweeping the Oilers. I think that's like a 5. I've warned over and I've said over and over and over to keep an eye on that series.
Ranked the Blackhawks 24th by a long shot, and you're saying that's a 5?
Yeah. Well, I think Chicago sucks, but they got the perfect matchup in the first round.
I think I don't see how those two things can fit inside the same brain.
It's pretty easy.
I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen in the first round. It's just going to be a giant cluster, I think. Like, seriously, anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's like the start of the season when these random teams are hot and then they fall off after a couple weeks. So I could see it. I don't think it's that hot.
I don't. There isn't a single result from the qualifying round that I think is unrealistic or unreasonable. Not one. Given that this is like preseason, you could see anything happening.
I'm just not buying it. I think that's a scorcher, is what that is.
Can we ban him? I'm so tired of hearing about this.
It's okay. We're not going to ban him, but we're just going to show his other take, which is the oven is turned off all the way with this take. Arizona loses in the play-in round and gets the lotto because of Taylor Hall.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about yesterday when I said one is did you not understand the assignment?
Yeah, exactly.
We're looking for a hot take, and you gave.
This is the cold leftovers in the fridge.
Yeah, this is there's an account out there dedicated to cold takes. Yeah, exactly. This is the coldest thing imaginable. I literally told Andre to put money on this happening.
Yeah, this was the joke immediately after the random team.
Yeah, it was like once people got over making jokes about Edmonton, it was like Taylor Hall.
All right, let's end it on a good take. I don't know how hot it is, but it's a. Well, actually, you know what? There's a good one in here. Let me find the one that is like a hard 10. I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly enough, but I'm looking. So give me a second.
While you're looking, Evan, what are you most excited about for the return of the Avs specifically?
I guess some sort of conclusion to the season, even though to me it kind of feels weird. I mentioned it before, I think on Twitter, that it's been so long that it almost feels like just more of a random tournament than the season, but
like a really weird World Cup style tourney.
Yeah, so just some sort of conclusion. It will be cool to see all of these teams completely healthy. I'm assuming most of them are completely healthy.
Yeah,
just go at it.
You're still going to get there's still going to be like the training camp, like groin pulls and things like those are going to happen. But this should be the healthiest postseason that we ever see.
Yeah, that's been a thing with Bednar's training camps is the training camp groin pulls. So I'm wondering, someone's going to get hurt in training camp. That's going to happen. So yeah, no, I'm just excited. Hopefully they figure out what the heck they're going to do with TV so people can actually watch these games. But
you're not going to watch them in Colorado, at least not
that carrier dispute is going to be.
Yeah,
I forgot about it for 5 months and it was glorious, and now it's back.
All right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I didn't even think it was going to last into the start of the season, and here we are. It's freaking almost August, and it's still going on. This is it's ridiculous. People can't watch their teams, and it's not even the Avs; it's the Nuggets too. It's like two really good teams, and now everyone's all excited to watch sports again. But nope, can't happen. Can't have nice things.
It's. With the Nuggets playing 8 regular season games, like you're missing a bunch of Nuggets.
Portion, yeah. All right. Well, I found 2 super spicy ones. So
perfect.
Firstly, Nuke goes nuclear and puts his defensive prowess together with some offensive stuff and is near the team leaders in scoring for the playoffs.
If they lose in round 1, sure. It's absolutely possible.
There you go.
I saw a lot of
DNVR will have all Nuggets and Avs games. So, because they don't have Comcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Nuke fans out there. I guess that would. If Nichushkin's leading the team in scoring, then I think we got bigger problems.
Yeah, it's probably they probably lost in 5.
Or the games are like 10-9.
That's no fun. You guys are giving a realistic way that this could happen and not Nuke popping off.
I am not the hot take man. How many times do I have to say it?
Nuke popped off during the regular season. He finished with what, like 27 points? Like, there's
what is Nuke popping off even? What is that?
It's what he did to Duncan Keith.
Does he just turn? Does is Nuke popping off just mean that he turns into Mikko Rantanen? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what it means. Yeah. All right.
Good for the Avs.
And this one, which has to be the spiciest one ever, because this guy went hard on the future. I hate to say it, but since it's a hot take, here we go. Avs losing the finals. Uber competitive McKinnon says, I'm never losing a cup finals again. They go on to win 3 in a row and 5 in the next 8 years to become one of the best dynasties ever.
Why would you hate to say that?
Because they lost in the finals?
Yeah.
But then they win a lot. So it all works out. That's 5 and 8 years is especially, well, maybe the salary cap flat thing actually will help the Avs.
3 in a row in the modern NHL would be unprecedented.
It would have to be the 3 before Mac gets his raise.
Yeah, they immediately go win 3 in a row, basically.
And then those other 2 are after he's getting paid $15 million per.
Yeah.
Did we have we burned down the house yet?
Yeah, if I could take that guaranteed, I mean, come on. Like losing the COVID Cup would suck, but then you're about to have the greatest decade since Gretzky's Oilers. Like,
yep.
And as we've seen, that means all of your players get in the Hall of Fame eventually.
That's
so
true.
Nichushkin.
Yeah, exactly. Prepare for Val Nichushkin, Hall of Famer.
Philip.
There we go. That's a hot take.
We finally got
state bird down on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the time is just about up for us. If there's anything y'all want to add, whether it be the training camp or hockey right around the corner, now's the time to do it, AJ.
I'm ready, man. I think I'm ready to get back into a rink. I'm ready to write about something actually taking place in front of us again. We don't know what our access is going to be. Somehow it's Friday and that decision still hasn't been made. And this is league wide. This is not an Avs thing. We don't know what we're allowed to do yet and what we're not allowed to do. Hopefully we're allowed into Pepsi Center on Monday and at least Evan or I will be there every day to make sure that somebody's got eyes on what the hell is happening. I'm just excited to having something to write about again. Like this is going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, these last 4 months have felt like 3 years, to be honest. So it's going to be nice to get back to some sort of normalcy with some sports and something to write about, something to actually talk about. Especially for you guys. I'm sure you're sick of doing these podcasts with nothing to talk about.
This is why we started talking to people who cover other teams.
Yep.
It's going to be, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be nice, especially to get into a rink when it's 6,000 degrees outside.
Yeah. Well, and an empty one, like Pepsi Center is going to be like ice cold.
I'm just excited, man. I hope there's someone in there that gives me clips of what's happening in the training camp. Otherwise, y'all might have to sneak me in there for a day, and I'll clip everything.
You bring your computer.
Yeah, your whole setup. You're just like, yeah, we're gonna sneak that in the back door there.
I can clip with my phone. You saw me in real training camp.
Yeah, security's not going to be that good. They're not going to catch that computer.
Just hide it behind your mask.
Yeah. We're getting there. But, as Evan said, we're excited to get things back to normal. And it might be time for you to rein in that bush, if you know what I'm saying. So Manscaped can help you with that. If you go on over to manscaped.com and use code DNVR20, you get 20% off and free shipping on all of their amazing manscaping products, whether it be the Lawnmower 3.0 or something as simple as just some breath mints. They have you covered. Cologne, toner, deodorant, you name it. They can take care of you both below and above the belts. Amazing products, amazing deal. Get on it while you can. Manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. we're closing out for Free Skate Friday. Hope you all enjoyed a little bit of a fun show. Just tried to mess around and get a little hype going for training camp coming back. And then less than 3 weeks from that, real proper hockey games on the way. As always, thank you for listening, and we will be back on Monday. Until then, enjoy your weekend. All right. My bad.